Today, I'm making a video regarding the hidden costs of keeping up with our daily lives while also paying for it. I have videos that I've recorded that were planned, and I also have a vacation that's coming up in a few weeks. And on paper, it looked like I was keeping up with the schedule that I demanded of myself. However, my body was telling a much different story. Have you ever kept up with a task externally, but paid for it physically and emotionally? I think this is something many people who deal with fibromyalgia can understand. When it comes right down to it, a task isn't just a single task because you've got to count in preparation, you've got to count doing the task, you've got to pay attention to recovery from the task. And you've got to do it all the while living with everything else that's going on in your life. However, our body will stress and it will make sure we know that we are not maintaining what we need to do, even if we think we are. Recently, I had to take a look at what I've got to get done before my vacation. I have to have videos that are prepared for that time I'm going to be away. And I have been stressing myself out trying to get that work done, and I'm paying the price. I had actually already recorded some videos, but when I looked at the effort it was going to take to edit them, I had to make a decision. Am I willing to continue pushing myself to the point where once I start my vacation, I'm not going to be physically up to it? Or do I need to adapt and change my plans? And honestly, when I took a look at these videos that I had already prepared and I looked at the editing that required due to the complex nature of them, I came to realize I don't have the time, nor do I have the energy on top of everything else I've got to do. So I had to make a decision. Do I force myself to try and get these done and not get the other work I need to get done finished? Or do I make a shift and go for something that's easier to record, easier to edit, and enable me to get stuff done? And that's where pacing comes in. Sometimes postponing it is the best way to do what you want to do. And ultimately, I took those two episodes and I'm placing them for after my vacation. I'm not going to not do them, but I needed to take the time to decide. I needed to make sure I had the time to do them properly. And that's actually very hard for me to do. When I do my episodes, I set them in 10 episode structures. I do that for my own system, for keeping my mind set so I don't overplan, so I don't overstress myself. Sometimes you just got to think about it. You can start something, but can you realistically finish it in that time frame? And honestly, that's one of the biggest hidden costs there is in fibromyalgia. We set tasks for ourselves. We think we can do them. They may be a video, they may be an appointment, they may be a trip, a commitment, or whatever it is that you've got going on in your life. But people, sometimes including ourselves, don't see all of the tasks that are involved in that singular task. Take a video, for example. You've got to write the script, you've got to do the research, you've got to plan out what you're going to talk about, which I won't lie, I don't do a lot of scripting. You've also got to figure out whether or not this is when you want to do it. You've got to sit down, you've got to record that script. And then that's only the beginning. Then you've also got to sit down and go on your computer or wherever you edit your videos, and you've got to go through those with a fine-tooth comb. You've got to build the images, you've got to build the structure within the episode by taking out stuff you don't want in and other stuff you do need in, including adding the images or maybe voiceovers. And then when you finally get that done, you've got to upload the video, deal with all of the description, the SOE stuff, SEO stuff. And then you got to schedule it. And then comes the shorts, which you've got to tear into your other episode and create shorts for your other stuff. And then you've got to also got to account in for the stuff you've got to do while you're doing this stuff. I do exercises 3 days a week. I take classes. And all of this has got to work within, I've got doctor's appointments. All of this has got to go within the video schedule. Where do you add time in for you? And that's the problem I've been having. I'm not giving myself any recovery time. I'm going straight into the next one. And this is my fault. But this is also what so many people with fibro deal with. We've got to fight our body. We've got to fight our surroundings. We've got to fight our tasks. We spend so much time fighting, we don't know what to do with ourselves and wonder why we're so tired. And everybody who has fibro deals with this, even someone who's had fibro as long as I have. And then it also comes down to emotions. I won't lie, I hate being on camera. I don't like the emotions that come along with it. But you know what? I feel that this is such an important project that I am willing to get on camera. Didn't say I liked it, but I do it. And emotionally, it's strong, but it's also tiring because stress equals pain in our world. We deal with the fatigue, we deal with the fog, we deal with the pain, we deal with the nausea, all while we're still trying to function. And all of that is also wearing on our emotions. We care so much about what we're doing that we're willing to push past boundaries that we shouldn't. And I had to realize that because I do feel so passionate about this, I needed to stop. I needed to step back and I needed to shift, not as a failure, but as reality. And the final of the 4 hidden costs that I'm discussing is recovery. As you know, with fibromyalgia, we need more recovery time for just about everything we do. We don't sleep the way we should, so we don't get the restorative sleep we need, especially if the task takes longer. I started a flare 2 weeks ago due to me pushing for something for this trip. And I got past the acute stage of it within 4 days. But because I'm pushing so much, I'm still in a low level one even now. When you need to step back and decide whether or not the task has enough recovery time, do we keep pushing ourselves even though we really know it's not? And then we've got to move on to the next thing. And in that next thing, we don't give ourselves enough recovery time. So we're going into it already low. We're already so low on energy that it just makes it worse. And that's why I say a singular task has more than one cost. And we've got to face that reality. So, what I've decided to do is I'm going to shift my content a little bit. I'm not going to do the episodes I was planning. Instead, I'm going to base them around stuff I've got to do anyway, which is getting ready for this trip. Some are going to be around adaptations we're making to the van because there are some adaptations that need to be done to fit our disability. Between my fibro and his COPD, our van has to make some very small but significant changes. And that's what my next video is going to be about. It's about some of those adaptations to make them more disability friendly. I'm going to reduce how complicated things are in regards to editing. The one thing I want you to understand is adapting isn't failure. We have to work with our bodies. We're not giving up. What we're doing is we're listening and understanding our needs because we're the only ones that can. I do want you to also think about your own life, your own plans. And I want you to think about, is there a task you're doing that is too much? So that's when you start breaking down these tasks, even if it's just a little bit a day. No matter how you look at it, a task is only as good as your ability to complete it. Sometimes you think you're technically keeping up, but it may be costing more than you realize, and definitely more than everybody around you realizes. Maybe it's your work, maybe family, maybe it's appointments, maybe it's trying to keep up your home and do tasks that your body can't accept. The answer is not always that you need to try harder. The answer is you've got to actually think about what your body accepts and maybe ask for help, delegate. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That means you're being smart. That means you're making sure the tasks get done, even if you're not the one that does them. No matter what, I'm not giving up on my goals. I'm adapting them. I'm breaking them down. I'm shifting so that stuff gets done. And I am protecting my goals while not giving up on my health. With fibromyalgia, every single hidden cost matters because every hidden cost costs energy, which we are already limited in. And I've got a question for everybody. If you were to look at your younger self before the fibro, or even at the very beginning of your journey, what would you tell them when it comes to dealing with hidden costs? Would you blame them, or would you actually say it's going to be okay? So if that helps you, feel free to stick around. I know how isolating fibromyalgia can feel, so I have started a Discord where my hope is that people can come, talk, share experiences, and just feel less alone. I'll leave a link to that below. And if you'd rather reach out privately, I am including my email as well.